to Sticking to the Truth with Julene Jackson and Debbie Jansen. Hi, Julene.
Hi there, Deb. So great to see you.
Good to see you. It is definitely spring. The everyday rain is interrupted by bits of sunshine and millions of sneezes, and I've been doing a lot of those sneezes. The stores are out of allergy medicine and Kleenex.
Mm.
However, allergies are not the only reason for Kleenex and swollen noses. May through June presents parents are writing the ups and downs of knowing their children are moving into the pre adult and adult world. And that's hard. Emotions run hot and heavy as that screeching roller coaster moves around the bend. And we are thankful and happy and excited and proud of our graduating kindergartners, moving on middle schoolers, high school seniors, and college grads as they climb the high hill. But like a flash, we are flying down the backside of that roller coaster and flipping over. And that's when all the tears and all the crying happens. We want our children to grow up, go out and change the world for the better. But as quick as we can grab that Kleenex, we are shedding awful tears of anxiety about the dangers they will face. I've done that. Have you, Julene?
Mhm.
And the knowledge that they won't be around as much as they were. And, we're going to miss them, right? It's scary to love and care for someone for 18 years and then watch them walk away. We all need to find balance. Balance that helps us to be proud and let go at the same time. Balance that understands the dangers but believes in the bright future for our children. Balance that realizes it's only 7 months until Christmas and surely they'll be home for Christmas, full of exciting stories and a purpose that drives them to success. But Julene, now we come to you because I've been through all this. Mine are older and been gone for a while, but I know you are losing your baby soon and you must feel all those roller coaster emotions. So, what are your plans? How will you deal with this time in your life? And, sweetheart, do you need some Kleenex?
Oh, I tell you, yeah, some days I do, and I'm not really one to get too emotional about my children, except for when they drive me over the edge and I can't take it anymore. But hey, it was Mother's Day yesterday, and every single one of my 5 kids, wrote me a little card or sent me a very long text telling me, some of their memories of childhood, and I found myself having to go get those hankies, and I don't know if it's because the last of the Mohegans, our last child, is graduating here in about, I don't know, a week and a half. It seems like at this season of my life, I have a lot of friends whose kids have graduated recently in the last few years. I had her at 40, so I'm an old mom, right? And so my a lot of people my age have been empty nesters for a while, a few years at least. And they kind of fall into 2 categories. They're either sad and depressed and they don't know what they're going to do anymore, kind of like their identity or their purpose has become muddied. Or there are those that are like, woohoo, celebration, freedom. And I kind of think, Deb, I lean a little bit to that latter camp. But I'm not, going to lie to you, the last month or 2, I have found myself as I've, been in the mornings teaching devotional to her or watching movies at night together or even sitting next to her in church yesterday. I just feel my little eyes tearing up a little bit knowing that, an era is ending in my life I mean, we all know, Deb, you've got 3 kids. They all come back when they leave, but
Yeah.
it's different because it's temporary, and for that reason, I might need a Kleenex or 2 before, I super out. But, we have all kind of plans. It's funny, I lay up in bed just musing about all the possibilities, letting my mind go wild, my imagination take off with kind of the excitement of this new chapter of my life. It's kinda on the when you're on the horizon of change, you can just kind of feel it in your, tummy, and it's kind of exciting, I'm not gonna lie.
I get it, I get it, and I love how you say it's kind of a little bit of both. My mom,
Sure,
she came
sure.
up with this I think the kids that because I had twins first, and then I
Yeah.
had a single, and I think after she got used to the twins a little bit, she finally said, "Well, I don't know which I enjoyed the most, the headlights coming or the tail lights going." Because, she realized she was older and there was a lot of work and she loved having him there. But
Yeah.
then after a while, she was kind of tired. And I've talked with a lot of parents who have regrets. They
Uh,
wish they'd been more involved in their child's activities. They wish they could have been a mentor and given them good advice. But I always say it's never too late. You
no.
can't change the past, but you can direct the future. You just need a plan. First, don't argue with that new adult and don't be negative. Give them the space they need to progress, all while they know you trust them and you want the best for them. Be open to conversations and always be encouraging and kind. Even kindergartners need that kind of support. I love the story about a mom who was concerned about her kindergarten son walking to school. Now, he didn't want his mother to walk with him. I'm a big boy now. And she wanted to give him the feeling that he had some independence, but yet know that he was safe. I've been through that, Julene, and I know you have too. We want them to grow, we want them to go do their thing, but oh, you got to be safe. And so we worry about him. So this mom had an idea of how to handle it. She asked a neighbor friend of hers if she would please follow her son to school in the mornings. Stay at a distance so he probably wouldn't notice you, just kind of watch him and then you can report back to me that he's safe. Well, the next school day, the neighbor and her little girl set out following behind Timmy as he walked to school with another neighbor girl that he knew. As the two walked and chatted, kicking stones and twigs, Timmy's little friend noticed the lady that was following them. And she asked Timmy, "Have you noticed that lady following us? Do you know her?" And Timmy shrugged nonchalantly and replied, "Yeah, I know who she is. That's just Shirley Goodnest and her daughter, Marcy." "Shirley Goodnest? Who is she and why is she following us?" "Well," Timmy explained, "every night my mom makes me say the 23rd Psalm with my prayers because she worries about me so much. And in the Psalm, it says, 'Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.' So I guess she's an angel and I better get used to it." Oh,
That
what
is
a sweet,
good.
sweet story. So always send your children off. Take the Kleenex away a little bit and send them off with the knowledge that you care and that your prayers are protecting them.
Surely goodness and mercy follow. What is it? And mercy shall follow. Anyway, that's cute. That is cute. I mean, isn't that the truth? We never stop worrying about them or praying over them, doing everything we can to ensure they're going to have a good life, right? And that they're protected and we prepared them to be successful, contributing citizens. This last little child of ours who's 18, about 6 months ago, she had been accepted to university. She was getting ready to register for her classes. And then the church we belong to put out an announcement that they lower the age of missionaries. Girls could go at 18. And so, she prayed on it and she's like, should I? We've had several kids serve missions. And she came back and said, Mom, I just have a feeling I should put school on hold for a year and a half and go out and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And she was called to serve in Chicago, Illinois. And, missions are not easy. They're hard. I mean, all day long, people
Yeah.
are rejecting, telling them to get lost, and they have to get up early and they study. And then, really, from sun up to sundown, they come home for an hour for lunch and then they're out on the streets or, going and knocking on doors and they can't watch TV. They can't shop for fun, only, for groceries and that kind of thing. No doom scrolling, no vacationing. I mean, it is 6 days a week. One day they have off. It's called a P day, and it's only from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for them to do their grocery shopping and laundry and cleaning, and then they're back up. So it's hard. So, to help her, we've been studying this little curriculum. It's called Preach My Gospel on how to get the little missionaries ready to, just be a missionary for a year and a half to 2 years. And the other morning, it was so cold, we did our devotional in the bed, and we crawled in bed. It still feels like winter here. It's spring weather, hot one day, cold one day. And for an hour, we read about the attributes of God and through scripture. And I mean, I will never forget that. And she, in her little Mother's Day card yesterday, said, "Mom, you don't know, how much those moments have meant to me, and me helping her to be ready for this, next assignment that she has." And so, I just think that we have to do all we can not to squander the time that we have with these kids and teach
Yes.
them the things that are going to help them the most. And like you said, what do you do if you have regrets and wish you'd spent a little bit more time cuddled up in bed reading together and so forth? If you put it out there to God, He will put on your heart what you can do to strengthen relationships with adult children. I do a text devotional almost every day to all because most of my kids are adults, and I send my little testimony and a little scripture and pictures of, yesterday, Mother's Day at Grammy's house, and then the kids respond, and it just keeps us all kind of close, even though they're spread throughout the world. And so, I say don't look back and with regret. Satan, I always say, wants to remind you of your past, but you are looking forward and resolve today to do those things, that will bring you closer and help shore up those kids regardless of what age they are. And you've got little probably grandbabies coming along. Do some of those things with the grandchildren that you didn't quite do with your littles when they were at home. I mean, it's never too late, is it, Deb?
Oh, never, never. You are so right, Julene. And a lot of times it's the little stuff. I was just thinking about that while you were talking. It's praying with them at night, it's being there with them, it's talking about different things that you need to talk about. I remember when my kids would go do something when they were like 4 or 5 after that. Oh, maybe 6 or 7, they didn't want me to do that anymore, but I would put my lipstick on and give them a kiss, and then I would say, "Now,
Uh,
while you're gone and you're not with mommy, if you are worried, you just touch that kiss and know that I'm with you." And they thought that was so cool. They would calm down, they would be fined for a babysitter or fined for, anybody that was watching over them or going into a Sunday school class, and then especially Jamie, I think he quit about the time school started, but Amy, she would still want that kiss even if it wasn't on her face. "Well, put it on my hand, mom," so that
oh,
she knew I took her with her. And then my grandchildren, I have made up songs for them. So for Sophie, it's "You are so beautiful to me, can't you see? You're all that I long for, you're all that I need.
uh,
You are so beautiful to me." Every time she leaves my house, I have to sing that to her. And
uh,
then I won't sing the one with, Gracie because Gracie has a little longer one. "I love you, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck." We sing that song, and I twirl her, and she dances around. But that goes with them. They
uh,
are taking a part of me with them. So, I think all those little things that you were talking about are really important because our children will always need us. They need us, our acceptance, our love to go with them wherever they go. Just because they leave the house doesn't mean they leave our lives. And being a parent is a lifetime commitment, right, Julene?
mm.
Never walk away from your child. Always be open to talk with them, even when they disappoint you or they do something that you disagree with. You need that relationship to stay in place, even if you have to talk about, "Well, you did this and we got to punish this way or put some restrictions on this. But you don't want them to feel like you've pushed them away. Always try to leave the lines of communication open. And if your child refuses to be around you, and this is so sad, I had someone contact me for prayer, but they're refusing to be around them because of politics. There's always prayer. You can always surround your children even though they're not in your house with prayer. So I know a mom who prayed for 14 years for her wayward son. And this one kind of chokes me up. And one day he showed up on her porch with a sign in his hand that said, "I'm sorry. I want to come home." Can you imagine opening the door and seeing your son standing there with that sign, hoping that you're gonna say, "Yes, come on in," which she did, and wanting to be part of your life again. So when you're a parent, it's for a lifetime.
Mm. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like a modern prodigal son story, right? That, you know, we're all gonna, to some degree, have kids that think they're smarter than everyone else, and certainly mom and dad, and they're gonna take their ball and go somewhere else, take their inheritance, so to speak, and, they will hit some hard times. They will squander, some of the precious things that we tried to teach them. And I just think that sometimes kids need to go out in the world and have an experience of the world and be taught some lessons
Yeah.
that will humble them a little bit. And I guess the goal for parents, right, is to just make sure that our door is always open when they return and that we're not so hard-headed and hard-hearted that we can't receive them and make home a soft place for them to land when they are ready to come back. And sometimes kids may do and say things that hurt us. We give our whole life to them, we sacrifice, and then they tell us off and head for the hills. And so we have to keep our hearts soft, and that means we have to be, in constant uh, consultation with our creator to keep us soft and have that spirit of forgiveness, because family dynamics can be funny and adult children can push buttons, and so but we have brought them into the world, and we have a stewardship, not to get mad and to wipe our hands, of them, but to always be like that father in the Bible. He killed the fatted calf and threw a party, to receive that prodigal son back home. And so that's the spirit and the position that we want to be in when they're ready to return or they're ready to hear what we have to say.
I agree 100% because life is not easy.
Mm-mm.
And if you're a parent and you're wondering, okay, my child's out there and they're making mistakes, what do I do? My advice is put yourself in their shoes. And remember that if you're worried about them and confused and afraid for them, you can bet your shoes that your child feels the same way. They're out there trying to do something and they know, "Oh, I'm failing. I'm not doing this right, and, oh, if I ever were to talk to mom or dad, they would just let me have it because this isn't going right." And your child may be pushing the door open and rushing out of your house, but I'm positive there's anxiety and fear in that child's decision. What if mom is right? What if I can't make it? What if dad is right? What if I fail? So instead of concentrating, at least in front of them, on that, be your child's mentor, and they will always want to know what you think. Now, a mentor does not demand that the child does what the mentor says. A mentor leads the way with instruction and guidance, acceptance and confidence. A mentor will always allow his child, his or her child, to make mistakes or to walk away. But hold on, because if you've done the mentor thing right, they will come back.
Mm. Oh, that is so beautiful, Debbie. Oh, that was so inspirational. I believe it's like God. His arms are always outstretched, like,
Right.
like the little hen. He wants us to come under the wings for care, and sometimes the little chickadees don't wanna go under mama's wings, but nevertheless, the wings are still there when they're ready to come back, and they do come back. We just can't give up on them. One of my friends, says it's she calls it the balcony section. Always be in your kid's balcony section, yelling out,
Oh,
you know, "Bravo, you got this, you can do it, don't give up, you're doing great, it's gonna be okay, I love you." I mean, we need to be their best cheerleader in that balcony section because there will be times in their life that will be the only one in the balcony section. So don't
yeah.
leave the balcony section of your child.
Right, you're exactly right. Oh, that is wonderful. And always remember what your purpose is too. While you were talking, I thought about, let me see if I can remember it. It's a story I heard from a long time ago about a mom who was rushing to get the house cleaned up because she was having company that night. And her little daughter was just right up under her legs. And she would turn around and go to grab something or go get a broom or do something and almost trip over that child. And finally, she was just so frustrated. She said, "What are you doing? Go sit over there. You're just right up under me every second. You're gonna trip, mommy. Now go sit over there." And the little girl started crying. She said, "What's the matter?" She said, "Well, mommy, my Sunday school told me that I should follow in the footsteps of Jesus, but I can't see him, so I'm following in your footsteps."
Oh,
And I tell you, if that had happened to me, I'd have been on the floor crying with that child.
yeah,
That is such a beautiful image of what we are as parents,
yeah,
is that we don't always force our kids to do things.
yeah.
We are there to be in their balcony. We are there to be there for them, and hopefully, we are there to hold their hands
Yeah.
and have them follow in our footsteps.
Mm. That is so I mean, let's get the hankies out. I don't know if it was just because it was Mother's Day or we're just reminiscing or I'm not sure there's one foot
Yes,
out the door.
I'll
This is
send one to you, email.
Well, Deb, I am so excited. I am going to get you and your good man, Ron, in Washington, D.C. in just a few days. I can't wait to give you a big old hug. We don't get to see each other, but once or twice a year in the flesh, you're coming to town for the National Day of Prayer. We're actually going to celebrate, 2.5 centuries of prayer in America on May 17th. It's the National
I
Day of
am
Prayer.
so
We're
excited.
gonna rededicate this nation, ourselves, our homes, our families to God from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the Mall in Washington, D.C. We are a praying nation. I mean, it goes to the very heart of who we are as Americans, that our rights don't come from God, but they come from government. And, we've
Yes.
really been misled to think that there should be a separation of church and state. I mean, our founders never intended it. It's not even in the Constitution. It's a little line that Thomas Jefferson wrote to some Baptist preachers in Connecticut. They wanted him to decide what the religion of Connecticut should be. And he said, the state, the country shouldn't encroach upon, individual states or people, that you decide. And so the founders wanted to protect the churches from an encroaching state, not the other way around, because they knew this country was established on principles of faith, God's law, natural law, and that it was wholly inadequate for irreligious people, that morality and religion were indispensable support. So we will be praying together, Deb. Your
Yes.
man, my man. I think some of my kids will be down there rededicating ourselves to following, the Lord who, his divine hand helped inspire this country, one nation under God. So can't wait.
I can't either, and any of our listeners, come on out.
Yeah.
Come see us. We're gonna be down there, and I hope we can get some pictures and some video. And for me, you know me, I wrote a book on praying for America,
Yes.
and I'm a devout
Did.
Christian, and I believe in prayer. But in believing in prayer, I'm also thinking about what God thinks and what does what I'm saying, what does that say to God? And I am excited about being there for a rededication because I believe God looks at the little details when we pray. And to say to God, here's my country. I want my country to be better. I want us to have more freedoms. I want us to prosper and be good. And so I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to rededicate America to you. To be able to stand in Washington, D.C. and pray that prayer, I'm excited because I know that prayer is going to be heard by millions of people and by God.
Yeah. Thank you for your testimony that you born today, Debbie. You have made me, listening to you, want to be a better woman, a better wife, and a better mother today. So thank you. You're one of my treasured blessings.
Well, you are mine too. We do that for each other, don't we? So thank you, Julene. This has been a great discussion, even if we had to get the Kleenex.
Yes. Get those hankies out.
Julene and I both wish you, all of our listeners, a happy graduation with your children. We are praying that our listeners will feel pride and joy about the children you've raised. You need to feel that. So, subscribe to this podcast and join us again. You can ask us a question or request that we dig into a specific topic by writing Debbie at debbiejansen.com. And thanks again to our wonderful producer, Ken Jansen. This is Debbie Jansen, and I'm sticking to the truth.
And I'm Julian Jackson, and we hope that you will keep sticking to the truth with us. We will see you next time.
Bye bye.